Merry Christmas, everybody. What? Oh, Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, so it just took me forever to do the intro. It took me forever to set this up because I'm trying something new here. I'm trying something new with some lighting. I don't know if I did the best job properly. It was just taking really long to just get something that even looks nice, and then the whole background was just, it was a bit stressful, I'm not gonna lie, and it took me forever just to sit down and say hello there. Another effort made with this jacket. Do you know what's really funny is that I'm so used to oversized clothing that this, for me, is like, it doesn't fit me. But apparently this is what they call fitted. And for me, it's like, it doesn't fit me because literally I can't really move. I actually want to wear something that you can't even move. So I would not call this my size. I would call it too small. Anyways, hello there. Welcome back to another video. So as I mentioned last week, somebody left a comment on one of my sex videos. I shouldn't say that. One of my videos about me talking about sex, and this person asked me if I could talk about a specific subject, and I was like, yes, of course, thank you very much. I need ideas, keep them coming. And it's so funny, when I was sitting there, I just felt like it was a bit weird, me trying to answer these questions. I just never thought to talk about this. And then, so then I was sitting there and I was like, am I forcing myself to talk about something I don't really want to talk about? But then in the end, I do want to talk about this, and I got quite excited. So I'm gonna quickly read you what he asked me to talk about and the questions that he had. Then I'm gonna dive into the video, talk about like a bunch of things, and then in the end, I'll reread the questions to make sure that I have covered all of the questions in my conversation points. So let's do this. Okay, so I thought I was gonna be able to keep this jacket on the whole time, and typical Nayna, I cannot. Oh no. Why am I so stubborn? I don't know. I kind of just want to put it back on. Right, we'll go for comfort over looks. So, this guy left me a nice comment. I'm not going to read his own comment because I'm going to get embarrassed. But he left a long comment giving me praise for what I do here. And I hope that he didn't like change his mind when he started listening to me talk about God and stuff, because I don't want people to judge me because I see a higher standard for all of us than most people see. Anyways, let me not get sidetracked. Oh, sorry, let me get sidetracked. So today I have a blue one that was supposed to go with that jacket, but now the jacket is off. And then I have another green one. This one's a little one, so it could go on either finger. I made these rings, yes I did. Anyways, okay. There's a slight chance that I might have reworded his questions because this just sounds too much like I wrote it. And I'm sure he didn't ask me what is arousal, but anyway, here are the questions that I took from his comment, right? What is arousal? What's the difference between arousal for a man and for a woman? Again, I don't think he asked me this, but but he was asking me about a woman, and I was like, what is the difference between arousal between a man and a woman? So I put that down. How does it feel like to be aroused, like the arousal process? Specific ways to evoke the arousal, like what evokes my arousal or women arousal. And then after the arousal, at what point do you orgasm as a woman? And I was like, oh, that's so sweet that people want to know these things. And I was like, of course they want to know these things, we just don't talk about them. So here I am, ready to dive in to another uncomfortable, I was gonna say comfortable subject. It should be a comfortable subject. And some people are like, nope, definitely uncomfortable. Let's open up with, I came prepared today. I decided to Google this time, what does arousal mean? And it's quite funny. This is what Google says. Okay, this is the Oxford Dictionary, but Google gives it to me, right? So number one is to evoke or awaken a feeling or emotion or response. Okay, that's it. I thought there was gonna be something about sex in that sentence, but no, that's the end of the sentence. And then to excite or provoke someone to anger or strong emotions. Wow. I didn't realize that you could use arouse as an anger thing. Strong emotions. To excite sexually, that's what we all use arouse for, to excite sexually. And then number two on the list is to awaken from sleep. I don't know why. When I read this the other day, I thought it was hilarious that you arouse because you're awakened from sleep. So, arousing is to evoke or awaken feelings. Do you know what? I actually took for granted the fact that I am a sexual person because I never really broke that process down of like, what's actually happening to me? I just know that I get turned on and I want things. I never thought to think of what's actually happening here and that other people might not feel those things, but I easily get turned on and I easily want things, but then I easily then turn off and then I easily then abandon the ship. So I easily do things, be it negative or positive, I do them quickly. Okay, we have what is arousal down, right? It's to awaken and to evoke a feeling inside of yourself that is sexual, or apparently that is anger, or apparently any type of emotion. It's to bring it upwards, bring it to be awakened. I bet the guy that commented is like, can you please get on with it? And I'm like, yes, I'm so sorry. Let me get on with it. Why am I laughing a lot today? I don't want to laugh. I want to take these subjects seriously. I don't want to be this kiddish person talking about this stuff. Okay, so actually I'm gonna stop with his questions now, and I'm just gonna like talk about all these points that I have made that I wanted to talk about arousing and stuff like that. So I thought it's quite interesting that I think that arousal has got to do with like plenty of different factors, because I was trying to imagine this guy who I was not attracted to, like trying to turn me on, or trying to evoke these emotions to come out of me, and I'm really not attracted to his face or his character, yet can he make me aroused? Like, to me, like, absolutely not. But I could feel that maybe there are some people who connect to a different type of connection with people, so then they might want to be aroused from people they're not attracted by. Like, it might just be a goal of theirs or an excitement of theirs that's like, oh, I want to use everybody, because I can imagine in another life I could probably do that. And so then I feel like in a past life I could actually just enslave all men. It doesn't matter if I'm attracted to you or not, you're all my sexual slaves and you're all going to please me. Like, I could imagine that happening, but in this body with this mind, like, absolutely not. And actually that's just cringe for me. I don't know. So I feel like there has to be an attraction to the person that you are playing with, that you're being aroused by. It has to be an attraction. So you have to like their face, or you have to like their character, or you have to like their body. There has to be some type of attraction for you to allow the sparks to start. So let's talk about this evoking part of it for now, right? So I think that first point of arousingness is when somebody teases you, where it's like it gives you a little bit of something that reminds you of something sexual. It reminds you of sexuality, and then it like awakens that part of you. So it could just be like a stroke of an arm, or the way that they're holding your hand. Like, it might remind you of an emotion connected to sexuality. And if they do a little bit of that reminds you of sexuality, then your body gets reminded that it has that sexual connection, and then it sparks up and it becomes aroused. And it doesn't have to be a full-on thing, and actually the full-on thing of like trying to arouse me never works with me. It always has to be like this accidental, or this like little dosage of it, like to just, and I guess it's because I don't need a lot of fuel to be sexual, because I am very sexual anyway, that if you actually give me too much fuel, I'll actually just die and not work.
What?
So you have to like just give me a little bit of fuel, because I kind of fuel myself, and that little bit of fuel would then entice me to remember a sexual relationship or chemistry that we have, and then I start to want that chemistry to take place or to become active. And it could be just literally like if somebody's like playing with my hand and they're having a conversation with me, and if they rub it in a particular way, or if they slow down for 1 second, like if they just slow down, it'll remind me that slowing down, I don't know, it just puts ideas into my head. And if something reminds me of sexuality and I'm attracted to that person, and they've done that to me by accident, in passing, that actually might be on purpose, because men are a bit cheeky like that, they do things like that on purpose, but it's just a little dosage of it, and then it awakens me because it's reminding me of sexuality, and then now I'm a bit aroused, and now I want it to go further. And that's quite interesting actually, because the Google thing only talks about the awakening of it. It doesn't talk about the desire to complete it. And for me, arousingness always comes with a desire to complete it, because if I don't complete what I'm aroused with or what I want, I get frustrated. But real frustration, like, why did I not get that? But I can imagine some people get aroused and they don't need to do nothing about it, whereas me, I need to do something about it. I'm now aroused, I want this. If I don't get it now, I'm gonna become grumpy. Let me not use that word, because that word is not what I become, because I either become angry or I'm very, very happy. And grumpiness, I feel like, is in the middle of like, you're not happy and you're not angry, but for me it's like I'm either angry or happy. I'm never like this in between. And if I'm in between, it's probably because I'm like trying to wish that I was dead or something. Sorry, bringing it down. And maybe the desire to complete or to have something given to me when I become aroused, and maybe why some people are different, it's probably just to do with education. Like, were you taught that you're allowed to be sexual? Did somebody teach you about sexuality? Have you learned to suppress your sexuality? And me in my life, we've come down this path, and this path allows me to be sexual, allows me to have my sexual pleasures and desires fulfilled. Not all of the time, but most of the time. So then my relationship to being aroused is that now I want it. But I could imagine that there's women out there or men out there who connected arousalness to I'm not allowed to stop it, cut it off, stop it. But like I said, that's not my relationship to it. If I get aroused, I want something to happen right now. And I don't want it to happen in 10 minutes. I want it to happen right now.
Whoa.
So then I thought, let me actually break down what actually arousing feels like. To be aroused as a woman, what does it feel like? Again, I'm so sorry, I keep laughing. I think it's because it's been a while for me. Nobody has aroused me for a while. And actually I kind of want that and miss that. So then I'm sitting here kind of giggling because I don't have it. So like I said, it begins with some type of touch or some type of... And funny enough, it never begins with a look. A look doesn't arouse me. And so when I'm talking about arousal, I'm talking about the physical feeling of being aroused. Not just like this feeling in the heart of like, ooh, or thought in my brain of like, does he want that? It's a literal arousal of my body kind of going, right, I'm turned on, I want to do something about that. That's for me what arousing is an actual feeling. Anyway, so then, like I said, it starts with like maybe just playing with my hands or something like that. I don't want to feel like I'm giving people tips on how to turn me on, but I'm just being transparent here. So if you're like playing with my hands and you're talking to me and you're playing with my hands, and then this kind of like gets me connected to sexuality, and then I guess then the clitoris starts to vibrate. Literally. I hope that all women are the same. I think that they are, because all of my friends would be the same. So I'm hoping that all women are the same. So when you become aroused and somebody has turned you on, and actually we use the word turn on rather than arousal, right? But it's kind of the same thing. So somebody turns you on either by accident or on purpose, and your clitoris begins to tingle. I said vibrate, but that's an exaggeration. It begins to tingle. And for me, I get wet straight away if I tingle. There is no in between. I don't know why. It's actually quite frustrating to me because I could never pretend that I'm not aroused. It's a bit obvious. So that tingle straight away releases the juices to welcome in the alien object of a man. I shouldn't call it alien because it's not alien. It's the body part. And maybe some people say that arousingness is just a feeling that they get here. And because my arousingness hits straight into the area that it wants to be activated, maybe that's why I get frustrated if it doesn't complete. And some people can just cut it off and say no, because we're calling arousingness like different things. But for me, and what I've just read, arousingness is to evoke the feelings of sexuality. And so then if you evoke me in some way, remind me, I need to stop doing that, reminds me of my sexuality, then my clitoris starts to tingle and then I start to get wet. So then coming to his question about, so from when you get aroused to when you complete in an orgasm, you know, what's the journey there and how quick is that? So I feel like there is like nothing bigger nothing bigger than being turned on, aroused, and then having that fulfilled. Wow. I mean, for women, if you're listening to this, right, when you want somebody to play with your clitoris and you're turned on and your clitoris is vibrating and it's tingling and you're turned on and you're wet, and then he teases you a little bit so he doesn't go straight there, because then it makes you want it even more, because it's like, why are you not going there? And he's like teasing, not going there. I reached a new clip very quickly today, and it's because I was doing all of this and I still haven't Googled how to make this stop. I don't remember what I was saying, but we get fulfilled when our arousal gets met with touch, particularly the genital parts. It's like a very massive release, it's very pleasurable, and then you have a completion of the pleasure at the end, because it's actually pleasurable while you're stimulating it, while you're aroused, while you're building an orgasm. It is pleasurable in that process, and the whole thing's pleasurable, and then it's just a boom at the end. Like, I don't know where we made sexuality bad when it's literally one of the free, I'm not talking properly today, one of the most amazing feelings for free. You can even do it with yourself. And it's free. Imagine if you had to put a token in every time you wanted to orgasm, like, and you don't need to do that. It's free. And then we've made it bad and we've made it embarrassing to talk about. We avoid talking about it with children. Obviously I didn't, but we avoid telling them how they were made. And if they're too young, we don't really tell them like how we make babies, and we just avoid the whole thing. And it's like, why? If it's like one of the biggest, most pleasurable things for free. Anyway, I was just reflecting on the process of actually fulfilling the arousalness. And so, like I said, you've aroused me by doing these little things. Then you teased. Sorry, I had to stop there because for me, even though you have aroused me with this like little touch and this little like tingle, if you go straight to my clitoris to touch it like straight away, like, oh, you're aroused, bam. Do you know, it really depends on how much the vibration, because the vibration just gets bigger and bigger, and actually the vibration is what ends up being an orgasm. So the little tingle, if it's like a little tingle while you're playing with my hands or you're playing with my neck or whatever, or you're playing with my hair, because that's also arousing to me. If you're doing that and it's only tingling a little bit and then you go straight to my clitoris, then it's like, oh, you've reset the whole thing, now it doesn't want it anymore. But if you play with my hair for a long time and then I'm kind of sitting there going like, I really want you to touch me, and you take forever to touch me because you're still on my hair, even though that's very frustrating, like, please don't do that. But if you did that and I liked you, so I was patient with you, I could imagine then that you could go straight to my clitoris because like I've already wanted it for like the past like however long and you've not done it. To be honest, me at this age, I would kind of like say something, whereas back then I would be like just patiently waiting, getting frustrated, but not really, because I fancy him a lot, so it's not really that type of anger, frustration. And you know when a woman is ready for you to touch her there, because she will kind of like push her pelvis. Women are clever. Well, actually all animals are clever. If you look at them and you observe them, you know what they're saying just by their body. And women, if they're ready for you to touch them, they kind of move their hips. Like, so for example, if they're like on the side, they'll like move straight, or if they're straight, they'll like move or wiggle a little bit. They'll move their pelvis if they're ready for you to touch them there. I don't know if this is too much, like, this is too much to remember. And I'm not talking about like, oh, my back is hurting, let me move. I'm talking about these like slight little movements. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about here, but I know what I'm talking about because I do these things. Okay, so then when you have the get-go to touch her, either because you've teased her for too long with this gentle teasing, or you've actually teased her after the gentle teasing and you've teased around this area but not going straight there, when you're finally ready to touch her there, sorry, and I'm talking about the clitoris thing here because this is what I have most experience with, but it's still the same with the internal one, but I will translate it to that in a moment. When she's finally ready to be touched because you've teased her enough and now she like wants it a lot, then you can go there, and then like I said, that vibration that is happening of the arousingness, if you carry on there and you carry on there, it builds, it gets bigger, the vibration gets bigger, and then it explodes, and then it's just, you know what I'm saying. I was thinking, how do you tease in sex? And actually how you tease in sex is like dry humping and dry, like having your clothes on but pretending that you're having sex, I guess. I think that's how you tease with your penis instead of with your hands and stuff. It's that you're rubbing and you're pretending you're having sex, and I think it's called dry humping. I think that's what it's called. When you're just on the bed and you're kissing and you're rubbing but with clothes on, and you're pretending you're having sex but with clothes on. This stuff is like really exciting. Like, why don't I have a boyfriend so I could go dry hump him tonight? I don't have one. Anyway, so I'm so sorry if this is too much information for you people. Okay, so yeah, so I think that's what teasing is with sex, is when you are dry with clothes on and doing that. I will get into the gap because the guy asked me like, and how long does it take, and I think it's super interesting to answer that question, so I am going to leave it until in a little bit, right? But let's talk about losing the vibration, meaning getting turned off, meaning the arousalness has switched off. And that happens to me more than I want it to, because I keep saying my brain is weird if you do something wrong, and because like I'm very quick and I'm very observant, like if I don't know, if I don't like what you're doing because it's a bit like, then I'm talking in codes here, because I bet there's people like, I want to know what it is that turns you off, Nayna, and I'm just sitting there talking in riddles. If a guy thinks that he has me, like, oh, I have her, oh, I know how to turn her on, that turns me off. So it's like the opposite. If you have like real confidence in yourself and you're like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, and you're a bit like confident, I'm like, okay, calm down. I'm a gentle flower. Treat me like a flower, please. I'm not your punching bag or your pillow. I am a flower that can take it rough. You know, the flower doesn't break like most flowers, but I like to be treated like a flower. Even though I don't break, you can treat me like that way. What else makes the vibration go away? If you go straight there, if it's not vibrating strong enough and it's not gagging for it, I don't like that word. My friend uses that word a lot. I don't like it, gagging for it. Ugh. Because gagging is vomiting. Oops. And I don't want to gag for it. Whoever made that up? Gagging for it. Ugh. Anyways, if the vibration is not high enough and you go to my vagina and you start to try and touch it, then I get turned off. If you kiss me for too long, I get turned off. If you use too much tongue and you don't take the tongue away a little bit, because I like to kiss and I like to tongue and I like to kiss and I like to tongue. And if you're just tongue, that would turn me off. What are you meowing for, baby? He was meowing to himself. Hi. Do you want to see my cat? Why are cats even so awkward anyway? Like, let me just hold you. Look at this. Look at this. Why do I have to hold you like this, baby? Why can't you be like a dog where it's like normal to hold you? Look, he's already pushing to leave. Bye. My cat is in here, so he's gonna distract me, you already know. Okay, enough about what turns me off. So when that happens, the vibration or the tingle, like literally just like goes away. And the wetness is still there, and that's why some women can still have sex and you don't even know that they've turned off now, because now the juices have already been released. So if you have sex with me, you would never know that actually this thing came to a stop about 10 minutes ago, because the vagina has already done its job. And so that's probably why women get away with it, and men think that they're turned on because they're all wet, and it's like, well, I was wet because you aroused me. But I'm just being honest here, because we do need to talk about these things and we need to sort these things out. And women, we need to have the courage to speak and have the courage to actually demand, I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm going to use it anyway, but demand for things to work for you and for things to be the way you like it, and the same with men. So then we have to communicate and talk about these things of what do you like and what do you not like. And me, I have become all about that in the past few years. I talk and I say what I feel like. So if you get turned off, you lose the vibration, and then if you touch the clitoris past this point, or if you enter the woman with your penis past this point, then there is nothing to build on because the vibration is gone, the tingly is gone, and there is a way to get it back. If the guy slows down, and I hope that a lot of men do this, because like a lot of men do this with me, and I hope it's not just the type of men that I attract where they're a bit more aware, and maybe a lot of men like I'm not aware, but when they've noticed that something has changed, they kind of like slow down a little bit. And when you slow down, you give the body time to kind of like re-want and arouse and re-desire. So for example, if you're dry humping and now you're turned off, which I don't know if that is, then if he lays down next to you and starts playing with your hand again, then you could definitely get that arousing back because you've taken a step back and you've slowed down. Or if he enters you slowly and then he starts to do a movement that you like, or if you find him sexy while he's like entering you, then again you could probably get re-turned on. To be honest, when a guy is entering me, I'm always turned on, otherwise I wouldn't let it happen. I can't imagine letting that happen. So I am always turned on when a man is entering me, and if I've been turned off up until that point, that entering actually re-turns me on. And I think that actually a lot of women use that point to arouse themselves, is that actual entrance of when you're entering them. There's something very arousing about it, and I could go on about it, but this video is already so long, so let's carry on with this. So there's ways to get it back, there's ways to re-arouse yourself if you lose it, and then bottom line is that you can just start again with going back to like playing with the hands or rubbing on their arm or playing with their hair. Okay, So the continuous connection to that vibration is what leads to an orgasm. So that tingliness, if that tingleness and that vibration stays for the whole entire time, then you're kind of guaranteed to have an orgasm in your clitoris or in your internal one. Actually, I don't know why I said kind of. Literally, that's what it is. If you lose that vibration or you lose the tingleness, then you can't build an orgasm. And if you maintain it all the way through, you're guaranteed to have an orgasm. But like I said in my last video, talking about orgasms, you have to push sexually towards it. Like I'm pushing towards it for it to build. But for as long as that tingleness is there, I don't know if I'm saying the right word, tingliness is there, then your orgasm is just waiting to come and to burst. Okay, I thought this was really, really interesting what I'm about to talk about, which is he asked how long does it take from arousingness to completion to orgasm, how long does that take? And I was like, that's a very interesting question. And I'm very, very interested to answer it. Because, let's talk about the external one for a second, right? If the man teases me, let's say for like 10 minutes, this is gonna be so embarrassing, but I'm not gonna be embarrassed about it. We're gonna be transparent here. Let's be transparent here, right? If the guy does all the right things and he teases me for like 10 minutes and then now my vagina's like, please touch me. The moment he touches me there and he stays on there, because some men obviously don't even know where the clitoris is, and they start like rubbing on something that's not the clitoris. And then like one time I moved the guy's hand to the right place, like no, that's where the clitoris is, and then he lost it again. But I swear I was aroused, because when you're aroused, it becomes a bit hard, the clitoris. So I'm sure you could feel the hardness. So unless I was soft, and then I don't know why he lost it, but he did lose it, and I had to put his hand back there a few times. Sorry, anyway, I got so distracted there. So if you've teased me enough, then you go there because now I want you to touch me. Then you go there and you touch it, and then you carry on touching it. Literally, it would take me maybe like 30 seconds to reach my climax from when you touch me.
What?
Because literally I'm turned on. Oh my gosh, I'm saying that word again. It's lit. My last video traumatized me. I don't want to say the word literally anymore. It traumatized me, and here I am, keep carrying on using it. So from the point where he's teasing me, that takes 10 minutes to when I want to be touched. This is actually a rough idea, because I don't know how long it takes me. It could take me like 5 minutes. I don't know. It just depends how good of a job he does. But now that I'm aroused and now that I'm really wanting him to touch me there, from the moment he touches me there to the moment where I climax and my orgasm is complete, it could be 30 seconds. Very short. If he hasn't teased me enough, and if I'm not really wanting it like that much, and I'm just wanting it a little bit, but it's still vibrating, but it's not that intense, like, oh my gosh, touch me now, and it's not that intense, but it's a little bit, like, it's still vibrating. If he goes and touches me there at that point on my clitoris, then it will take me about 5 minutes to climax, because then I have to, do you know what? And the reason why it will take me 5 minutes is because I'm sitting there thinking about it. Because if I wasn't thinking about it, then I should still be able to do it in 30 seconds from when he touches me, because I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking like, oh, you've gone there already. Okay, all right, let's do this. Oh, like, and I'm having this thinking process about what you're doing, and I'm not certain about what you're doing. So then that's interrupting me disappearing into the feeling of you touching me. And when I'm super aroused, that's all that I'm thinking about, because I'm obsessed with it now and I want it. And then so when you do it, it's like my focus is fully there, and then 30 seconds, boom, finished.
Wow.
Right? But if you've rushed it, then it's going to take me longer, because now I have to be like, okay, concentrate. And I'm still aroused and it's still tingling. Now there's blocks in my way of thoughts and what I think of this and my opinions of that. And then I have to try my hardest to get rid of it. And maybe it takes me like a few minutes to get rid of it. And then while you're still touching me, I'm getting rid of it, but I'm liking it still. So then it takes longer. And then the worst case scenario is if you literally go straight there. I'm too shy to tell you. Literally, I've probably like jumped when you went to touch me a little bit, like, oh, okay, we're doing that now, okay. Like a little bit of a shock. And if a woman does that, then you know she's not ready for it. If the woman kind of like jolts a little bit when you do it, you should retract and start again. Because when a woman wants you to touch her and she's ready and it's like 30 seconds, boom, I've climaxed because of how aroused I am, she would never jump. She would never jolt like when you go to touch her. And actually she'll probably let out a sound of pleasure or something when you finally touch her. Like you hear her breathe harder, or you would hear her make a sound, a sexual sound, which I'm not gonna start doing that to you guys. So all of the clues are there. Anyways, so if I'm too polite and you go straight there and there is no teasing and I'm a little bit tingly, then it would take me 20 minutes or more, because now there is even more thinking to get past. Like, why did he go straight there? Does he know what he's doing? I'm sure he knows what he's doing, but he's so attractive. But then he went straight there. Oh gosh, Nayna, concentrate. He's touching you. Okay, but why is he touching me? Like, I wasn't ready. And so then there's so much going on. And the poor guy is like sitting there. And then some people are like so adamant on finishing. And I have like, because I know like sometimes it's not going anywhere. Like I'm trying, it's not happening. Too many thoughts, it's not happening. So then I go to move his hand to insinuate, okay, let's have sex. And he's like, no, I want to do this for Sorry, because I could imagine if somebody has done that to me. I was honest with him. I was like, yeah, it's not gonna complete. So you're gonna be here all day. So it's not gonna complete. So let's just have sex. And because I get excited for that entering, like I said to you before, then I'm kind of now relying on that to kind of like magicalize the situation. And it was only for magical purposes, because I wasn't even orgasming inside. It was just for the thought of like, oh, we had sex and this feels good and this means something, rather than like, okay, let me try the internal orgasm, which now I can do because now I know what it is and how to do it. And so I notice that if I'm drunk and I am giving myself an internal orgasm, it happens way quicker than if I'm sober. Why? Because I'm thinking. And so I feel like when you're very aroused, which then I guess that when the liquor gets into me, I become like very aroused, that then there is no space for thinking. It's just the space of like, I want the pleasure, I want the feeling. And so then it's very quickly. And so the internal orgasm, I haven't done it in this short of a time, but I can imagine that from entering to completing can also take less than a minute. And I think I nearly did that once before. And then I was like, wait, how am I doing this so quick? And because I said, how am I doing this so quick? It reset the whole thing. All the thinking that you do resets it. And so when I have alcohol in me, I don't really have a lot of thinking going on. So then I could achieve it quicker. And from entering to achieving the climax. So I'm aroused. I want to now have something enter me, right? Because I'm aroused. For me, alcohol just gets me aroused. I don't sit there and turn myself on. I just get aroused because I'm drinking. So then I'm aroused. Now I want to have something enter me. And then I do it. And because I have semi-thoughts at that point, because I'm drunk and it's semi-thoughts, it could be anywhere between like 2 minutes and 5 minutes with a quick one. But if I haven't got alcohol in me and I'm like going for it dry, then it could literally take me 20 minutes or more. And it's me not giving up, because it's me sitting there kind of going, this and that, and oh okay, and having thoughts. And if you're in your thinking brain, judging, having an opinion, analysing, observing, taking notes. I'm going to tell my friend about this. Does it mean this, that if he's doing this? Does that mean that he feels like this about me? Like if you're taking notes while you're doing sexual things, it's gonna take you longer. And that's what I realized. So to answer the question of how long it takes, it depends how much you're in your head and how much interruptions you have in your head, because it could take you from as short as 30 seconds to as long as 20 minutes. And people who do it for 1 hour, I'm like, no thank you. I've never had a man who took very long to ejaculate. Actually, I was seeing this guy once and he told me that he takes long to ejaculate, but he didn't take long to ejaculate, none of the times. Maybe he said that to try to impress me, and I'm like, and I said to him when he said that to me, like, I don't want to have sex with you because I am not gonna sit there for an hour with you, especially knowing that I don't orgasm. Like, I'm gonna sit there for an hour with you, like, no. But I do feel like all of these things of why some people take very long is because of all of this stuff. Like, you're having a judgment of what's going on. You're thinking something is blocking you, so you're not enjoying something is not hitting right. And when it hits right, it will take seconds. When it hits right. So to conclude, and before I go back to his questions, arousingness is the key. I know I'm making up that word, but it's the key to activating your orgasm to start. It's the key to start. The middle is like, how much do you tease them into wanting the completion that the arousingness has brought on? And then the finish is, did we manage to do that without any interruptions? And if we did, it was quick. And if we didn't, it wasn't so quick. Okay, that's what arousingness is. Thank you very much. Can't believe I did 3 videos today. I have so much to edit through today. And I hope a bunch of it is just me sitting here quietly, because this is long wrong. So what is arousal? We covered that. Men and women, what's the difference? So we did not cover that. I have a feeling it's very similar though, because I have a feeling that that push that we need to build the orgasm, I feel like that men also do that push when they are pushing in and out. So I feel like we have the same push, and I think that we have the same tingle, and I feel like we have the same off-putting thing, like if a woman just goes then like puts her mouth on your penis without any type of like warning. I don't know if that will be pleasurable, or if it will be like, oh okay, you know, I don't know if you need to be teased as well, and if there's a tingliness, and if the tingleness is like really strong or really weak. So I'm assuming that it's very similar, but it'll be interesting. I'm not a man, it will be interesting to sit with somebody here and talk to them about that. How does it feel like? I think I covered that with the whole vibrating and the tingly descriptions. Specific ways to evoke arousal. I did go into like my specific ways to evoke arousal, and I guess like kissing, I had a really bad habit when I was younger that I could not kiss without teasing. And then I have this thing where like I want to bite their lip, and if a guy bites my lip, that turns me on. Or if he's kissing me and then he like stops and he kisses me really slowly, because then it becomes like a sexual kiss. I don't know if I'm like schooling people when they already know what they're doing, like they now know how to slow kiss, like I know how to like tease while I'm kissing. So teasing is how basically you evoke arousalness. And the more you tease, the more intense the arousalness is. And if it's very intense, then the completion of the climax is quick. After arousal, what point does orgasm come? Yeah, I think I've covered that. Okay, so we did a lot today. I was very open. I hope I was helpful. I'm not like, I swear, I'm not embarrassed in doing these videos. I actually love them. I love to sit here and give you things that you don't have. Like I want to talk about everything, like all of these embarrassing things, that even for girls, like all the things that we go through, like I want to talk about all of them, and I don't feel no way but to talk about them, and I'm really excited to talk about them because we need to talk about them. The only thing I don't like is the thought of possible suitors of mine, I shouldn't say suitors, like possible partners of mine, like watching these videos. I don't want that. And it's really cringing me to think that there could be men. I need to get past it because there's no way about it. This is what I do. I want to do this. I want to talk about things. So I have to get past people that I might fancy might watch these things, and then I don't. And then I'm embarrassed. And I'm embarrassed because now you know all these things without me telling you, and it's embarrassing. Like I'm sitting here telling you how to turn me on, and that's just... Okay, anyways, enough of that rant. Thank you so much for listening. I will be back with another video. Until next time, have an amazing... God, my word is thinking of all these inappropriate things. Have an amazing evening with yourself or with somebody else. And or day or night or middle of the night or whenever you want to. Goodbye.